What is up, 5-minute freedom fighters? It's Dean Soto. We're going on vacation. We're on vacation right now. And so you're going to see me doing that. This video is not for those business owners. If you're one of these business owners who want to be working all the time and not be able to go on vacation pretty much wherever you want, whenever you want. And it's not for those internet marketing types who preach that this is like you can do stuff without actually building a real business, you know. So all that being said, I wanted to do this video on training, why training sucks and processes are amazing. I'm trying to find my backpack. I got my suitcase. We're ready to go. We're gonna go on a little vacay, see some in-laws and so on. So I was on a call with it was actually a prospect. So one of the things, I have a system where my guys help me send out cold emails to prospects, and I had sent out these emails to this one consultant. Well, I should say this back, to consultants just in general, because virtual systems architects at freedomin5minutes.com work really, really well with consultants, because a lot of consultants build processes, right? And so if you can build a process in 5 minutes, like we show in freedomin5minutes.com, that's a pretty good thing, right? So it helps out a lot of consultants, so I try and create these strategic partnerships. Should I show you my desk? My desk is a little bit of a mess. Yeah, it's a mess. And the dog is in the kennel. All right, so this guy, we'll just call him Joe. I totally forgot what his name was. He had built several of these kind of big businesses. And he literally didn't even know why I was on the phone with him. He just accepted the scheduling call or whatever, and he had no idea why I was on the phone with him. And so we get to talking. He's this bald white guy. Not that I have anything against bald white guys. My grandpa was a bald white guy. And I have friends who are bald and white and black and all over the place. But he, the old guy, definitely old school business mentality. The type that where you solve problems by hiring. So and a real business, a real big business is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, rather than a business that makes a lot of profit and has things automated and systemized and everything like that. So anyway, we're talking. He didn't even know what he was talking about, his business and yada yada yada. And so I started explaining he asked me, so what do you do? And I started explaining the Freedom in 5 Minutes method, and he didn't quite get it. He actually didn't understand. And it took me about 10 minutes just to get him to understand what these virtual systems architects do. And once he got it, he's like, oh, okay, wow, that's interesting. That's really cool. So, and one of the things I said was, he was talking about, okay, so they help with training. And I said, well, I don't really say, they said training documentation. And I said, well, we don't really like using training in our language. Training is a bad word in our language. Training is something where, for us, you're spending hours and hours and hours with a person going back and forth. And training documentation is kind of very vague. It's not step by step. It's not very specific. And so he says, as I said, there's a big difference between training documentation and process documentation. He's like, oh, that's bullshit. Immediately. He says, oh, that's bullshit. And I'm like, excuse me? I barely met you and you're saying it's bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, let's think about this, right? Training documentation can be very vague. It can give the reasons why certain things are happening. It can give you ideas on, it's not, hey, click here, click that, click this. It'll say something like, the dashboard is where you can do a lot of your main things. you'll have icons such as this and this and that and yada, yada, yada. These are used to increase productivity and efficiency and things like that, right? And so in the end, it turns out I was right. That a training document is very different than a process document, right? So training in general, from a small business owner's point of view, training to me is obsolete when you want to scale a business, okay? The habit is that I'm going to sit down with this person, or I'm going to give this person a video. I'm going to help this person to understand the overall concept of this thing, because when they do that, now they're going to really truly understand why they're doing what they're doing and how to do it. They'll give them the big picture, and then they'll understand and they'll be able to do the small picture. Whereas it couldn't be more opposite. Training by creating process documents by process, training by process is far different and far more effective. Okay, this is where a lot of people who delegate poorly don't get it, right? If you want to delegate, the biggest thing is to delegate through process. This is the way you do it now, okay? These are why apps like Process Street and Trainual and a couple of other apps are becoming so much more popular, because the way that it works now, because it's been found and proven, I shouldn't say proven because I don't have statistics, but it's definitely the way the zeitgeist is moving. It's definitely the way that everything is moving is toward process first. Because when people understand the very specific aspects of what they're doing first, even if they don't understand the big picture, just like with my kids. When I tell them to do certain things for homeschooling or for chores or anything like that, they might not understand the big picture of why they're doing what they're doing, but eventually they get so good at the nitpicky, the very first stuff, the smaller stuff that they're doing, that they start to understand the reasons why later on they're doing what they're doing, and they become much more effective in everything that they do, okay? So, training, gotta get out of the mindset of training. And what do I mean by that? Get into the mindset of process. I keep on wanting to look at myself. Get into the mindset of process. What do you do with this specific task? What do you do with this specific task? What do you personally do? Okay, this is where it's writing down step by step. Step by step. When you are managing your QuickBooks, when you're doing your bookkeeping and things like that, how are you logging in? What do you type into the URL bar? Do you press enter or do you click the button to go? When you get to QuickBooks Online, what button do you click to log in? Do you enter in your username first and then your password? Then what do? You press enter or do you click the button to go? This is how detailed it needs to be, because once that happens, you can give that to somebody else and completely forget about it, because it's so detailed that really anybody could do it. A blank slate can do it. In fact, in the podcast, I believe it's episode 85 with Oliver. So it should be either episode 85 or 84. Go check that out, Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. If you Google that, you can subscribe on iTunes. Episode 85, I believe, with Oliver, he talks about utilizing virtual systems architects as a blank slate, a virtual systems architect from Freedom in 5 Minutes, or just blank slates in general, and why they are so much better. Someone who has no experience whatsoever, as long as you have these processes, it gives you a huge advantage, okay? But when you have these step-by-step processes, what happens over time, yes, it feels robotic. Yes, it's boring. Yes, if you're writing it out, it takes a long time. If you use Freedom in 5 Minutes, you can do it in 5 minutes. But once it is done, here's the beauty. You never have to do it again. You can give it to somebody. They're able to do it like that. And then as you give them more and more of those types of processes, they are automatically trained. In fact, they are super trained. They're much more trained than they would be otherwise. This is why over time, you're gonna see that they're gonna change the process and then create new processes, because they're gonna understand, oh, now I know why I'm doing this. There's actually a better way of doing it. I'm gonna tell so-and-so, I'm gonna tell Dean, I'm gonna tell Steve, or whoever my boss is. I'm gonna tell them, hey, I found a new way of doing this. Can I change the process? And you're just gonna say, yep, and now that process can be used for everyone later on. So, point is, no more training. No more training. I can go into this more into another video and answer any questions if you have. Leave your questions in the comments. Subscribe, you'll get more tips like this. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these on the go as well, especially since I'll be on vacation for the next week or so. But here's the deal. Just leave a comment. I would love to do more training. We're gonna the ideas behind these videos are gonna be able. They make it to where every 5 minutes that you spend, you have freedom. Every 5 minutes you have freedom because you have somebody else who can do what you're doing as a small business owner, and you can scale your business into infinity. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Go to freedomin5minutes.com. There is a business process scorecard. There's a whole masterclass on this entire concept that you can sign up for, or you can even schedule a one-on-one session with me or my staff, and we'll be able to give you a strategy or based around your business so you can grow as big as you want and be able to do stuff like just take a vacation. So if you haven't taken a vacation at all, you definitely need to head over to freedomin5minutes.com. All right. Anyway, training. No more training. Process. Everything should be process. Everything should be process driven, written processes, step by step. Training sucks. Don't want training. And my wife is hiding from me, but you're looking this way. You want to say hi? What? You can go that way. You're not on video. Yep. Okay. All right. I will catch you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes video. See ya.